morning, America. The breaking news, airport shooting, the scare in Paris as an airport is evacuated and flights diverted. A soldier's gun snatched away, the attacker shot and killed. What was he trying to do? The latest on a developing story this morning in a country already under a state of emergency.
China meeting Secretary of State Rex Tillerson in Beijing and talking strategy about North Korea.
Things have reached a rather dangerous level.
ABC's Bob Woodruff in Beijing this morning.
Where's the red line on this?
Getting the answers after the new hardline approach.
Standing his ground, President Trump not backing down on those wiretapping claims. The answer to a reporter that shocked the German chancellor.
I guess by this past administration, at least we have something in common.
This as the Justice Department makes a special delivery to Capitol Hill.
Swishes and fantastic finishes. March Madness.
That was good.
Kick it into high gear. The buzzworthy moments. Favorites coming out on top. But which team will be the next bracket buster?
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning on a Saturday with lots of news, including a fresh storm moving into the Northeast.
And speaking of weather, you may notice that we have a familiar face here at the desk. Rob Zopp, Sam Champion pitching in this morning.
Good morning. Hi. Did you notice? Nice to see you, sir.
Wow.
And we've got brand new information on tonight's winter storm, so we got to get people updated on that.
This is the first time that you've really been on Weekend
Ever
GMA.
done this show? Yeah, this is a lot of
You're
fun.
going to have a lot of fun.
All right.
And you may live to regret it. Thank you very much, Sam. We're so excited to have you here. And much more on that storm coming up. But we're going to start here with the breaking news this morning. Look at the pictures out of Paris. Police out in force at the Orly airport.
And the airport remains closed after a suspect managed to steal a weapon from a soldier guarding the airport. That suspect was shot and killed by security forces.
Thousands of passengers forced to evacuate from the city's second largest airport. Pictures show travelers walking on the highway nearby.
And it's all happening in a city and a country already under a state of emergency after recent terror attacks. We start here with ABC's Jennifer Eccleston, who's covering the story from our London bureau. Good morning, Jennifer.
Dan and Paula, good morning. A massive police operation is underway this morning after a man grabbed the gun of a soldier on patrol in Paris's Orly International Airport. The assailant then running away from soldiers and hiding in an airport shop. He was shot dead by security forces, but a frantic scene followed with travelers and airport staff fleeing the terminal. It was evacuated by heavily armed police special forces who were on the scene within minutes. They escorted people to safety outside. No one else was injured, but they are warning travelers to stay away from Orly Airport until the police investigation is complete. Flights have been redirected to nearby Charles de Gaulle Airport. There's been no official comment on the suspect, his identity, or possible motive, but police are saying he acted alone. They're also confirming a shooting earlier this morning is linked to the airport incident. A motorist was pulled over and shot a police officer and fled. His identity is known to French intelligence officers. And the Paris prosecutor's office today confirming its anti-terrorism section is now taking over this investigation. Dan and Paula.
Already amplifying the nerves of the French. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for that reporting. We want to bring in ABC News contributor Matt Olson, an expert in counterterrorism, who joins us from our nation's capital. Matt, good morning to you. Great to have you. So clearly, it's not good that the suspect was able to grab this particular soldier's gun, but what can we really determine from the security officials' quick response?
Well, it really was quite a quick response by the security officials. The main thing, I think, is that you have, since the early attacks in 2015, you have thousands of special forces officers deployed at places like the airports in France who are highly trained and prepared for incidents like this. And I think we see now how that training pays off by how fast they were able to respond to this particular incident.
Well, let me pick up on that. The fact that there are soldiers at the airport in the first place speaks, as you just mentioned, to the heightened sense of security in France and in Europe generally. How is this event likely to impact the state of alert in this region?
Well, people in France, actually across all of Europe, are already on edge. We've seen this spate of attacks over the past 2 years, 2 major attacks in Paris, and then the attack just about a year ago at the Brussels airport, all linked, those attacks linked to ISIS and to the Syrian civil war. ISIS has called for coordinated attacks across Europe. So this will clearly be looked at in the context of those other attacks. There's a lot we don't know still about this, but that's why I think you see security forces taking this so seriously right now.
And airports are particularly vulnerable, given the fact that there's that layer of security before you get to the gates. Before you get to that layer, it is an area where people can make mischief, as we've seen in Belgium.
That's exactly right. That's what we saw in Belgium, is that this was outside the security layer that attack occurred, with bombs and small arms. So there's people there. These are soft targets. That's why forces in France have deployed these special forces all over Paris.
Matt, thank you. The breaking news this morning. We're going to stay overseas now, though, because America's new Secretary of State is on his first official visit to China. And this comes at a really tense time on the heels of Secretary Rex Tillerson sending that stern warning to North Korea, raising the possibility of a preemptive strike. And ABC's Bob Woodruff is in Beijing, China, where he had a chance to question Secretary Tillerson directly. Bob.
Good morning, Dan. Yes, Secretary Rex Tillerson just landed here in Beijing this morning after closed-door meetings in Japan and South Korea this week, and this is by far the most important stop. Tillerson speaking alongside the Chinese foreign minister in Beijing over the looming threat of escalating tensions over North Korea's nuclear capabilities after his comments earlier this week about possible preemptive strikes being, quote, on the table. Exactly where's the red line on this? But no specific answer yet, just rising concerns.
We share a common view and a sense that tensions on the peninsula are quite high right now, and that things have reached a rather dangerous level. Foreign Minister Wang has agreed that we will work together to see if we cannot bring the government in Pyongyang to a place where they want to make a different course.
Tillerson not exactly forthcoming as he'd been earlier this week while visiting South Korea. Tillerson signaled that the U.S. will get more aggressive.
Let me be very clear. The policy of strategic patience has ended. We're exploring a new range of diplomatic, security, and economic measures. All options are on the table.
On Friday, President Trump made his point by Twitter, writing, North Korea is behaving very badly. They have been playing the United States for years. China has done little to help. Now, Secretary Tillerson said he did not see this tweet coming at all, but he says President Trump has stayed consistent. He just wants China to step up the pressure on Kim Jong-un, who launched more than 20 ballistic missiles last year alone, 4 more earlier this month. Paula?
Yeah, those tweets certainly putting Tillerson in an awkward position. Bob, thank you for your reporting from China this morning. And we want to turn now to a defiant President Trump, who is holding firm to the allegations of wiretapping, despite congressional leaders on both sides of the aisle saying they still haven't seen any proof. ABC's David Wright is in West Palm Beach this morning, where the president is spending the weekend following his meeting with Germany's chancellor. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Paula. As you say, leaders on both sides of the aisle refuse to back him up. But President Trump is not backing down on his claim that President Obama bugged the phones at Trump Tower, even if that means embarrassing America's allies. Standing alongside German Chancellor Angela Merkel, President Trump joked about how the Obama administration eavesdropped on her.
At least we have something in common.
Check out that look on her face. Quite possibly the most awkward moment in U.S.-German relations since President Bush gave Merkel a back rub at the 2006 G8 summit. Trump went on to cite Fox News as one of the sources of his claim and direct any questions to them.
All we did was quote a certain very talented legal mind who was the one responsible for saying that on television. I didn't make an opinion on it. So you shouldn't be talking to me. You should be talking to Fox.
President Obama went outside the chain of command. He didn't use the NSA. He didn't use the CIA. He didn't use the FBI. And he didn't use the Department of Justice. He used GCHQ.
GCHQ is the British equivalent of the NSA. The British government expressed outrage at that claim, calling it utterly ridiculous. Fox News is now trying to distance itself.
The Fox News division was never able to back up those claims.
Fox News cannot confirm Judge Napolitano's commentary. Fox News knows of no evidence of any kind that the now President of the United States was surveilled at any time in any way full stop.
On Friday, the Justice Department delivered classified materials to lawmakers on Capitol Hill, and sources tell ABC News they saw no reason to change their minds, even now that the Justice Department has fully complied with congressional requests to hand over all evidence, apparently no proof to corroborate the president's claim. Not that that seems to bother the White House. The press secretary told reporters, "I don't think we regret anything." Now, on Monday, FBI Director James Comey is going to be on Capitol Hill testifying about Russian meddling and also presumably about those wiretapping claims. Meanwhile, here in Florida this weekend, Vice President Pence is here. He's doing another round of salesmanship on the health plan.
And speaking of the health care bill, Trump care, some people are calling it, where do things stand?
Well, the Republicans have made some concessions to conservatives who want work requirements in some cases for Medicare. But it's a tricky balancing act because any concessions they make for conservatives may alienate moderates. Meanwhile, the real problem is the Freedom Caucus, the Tea Party folks, most of whom are against it. Paula?
Right.
Businessman getting a real lesson in American politics. All right,
David.
David, thank you very much. Let's bring in ABC News political analyst Kristen Soltis-Anderson, who we sometimes call KSA. KSA is in Washington this morning. I'm not sure she loves it when I call her KSA. Anyway,
too close to TSA. So,
yes, exactly. Kristen, let's talk about these wiretapping claims that President Trump refuses to relinquish. Is this politically damaging for him, or is there maybe an upside in that we're not talking as much about the investigation into his team's ties to Russia?
Well, it certainly complicates and muddies the waters around the investigation into Russia. Earlier this week, there was a press conference where the House committee that is investigating many of the claims about Russian meddling in the election, they were asked almost exclusively about this wiretapping claim. And so it's really muddied the water about what the investigation into the Russian incident is all about. Now, the downside for Trump is that, A, this is embarrassing, and B, it's continuing to keep the focus on a kind of a bad moment in foreign policy. Foreign affairs is the area when you ask voters, how do you think President Trump is doing, is among the worst for him. People like the way he's handling the economy, but they don't like the way he's handling foreign affairs. So this can't be helping those numbers.
Seems to be lost in translation. Okay, we were just talking about the health care bill with David Wright. They're expected to vote on it on Thursday. President Trump getting a little more conservative support, we've learned, after making 2 amendments which affect Medicaid. But is that going to get him any closer to the votes that he needs to get this passed?
Well, having Donald Trump out there saying, I think yesterday, that he's 100% behind this bill is great news for congressional leaders who want to see this bill passed, because Donald Trump is extremely popular in many of the districts that these most conservative members come from. This Freedom Caucus group, they're the ones that are almost always making the trouble for congressional leaders. If they're on the wrong side of, say, Paul Ryan, that's one thing. They can weather that in their district. If they're on the wrong side of Donald Trump, that's a very different story. But there's also the question of the moderates, like you mentioned. You've got a handful of Republican governors in some of these Midwest states, states that helped Donald Trump win the presidency, who have come out with a lot of skepticism and opposition to the way the bill handles things like the Medicaid expansion. So it's unclear if this balancing act is going to work with getting just enough conservative and just enough moderate votes to get it through.
And very quickly, the president's also dealing with some pushback within his own party over his proposed budget, which some critics say could hurt many of the same people who actually voted for Donald Trump. What's the state of play there?
Well, presidents put forward budgets, but it's Congress that actually holds the purse strings. And Donald Trump is nothing if not a negotiator. So I would assume that this is a sort of a first opening offer, that this is a budget that cuts an awful lot of programs that are pretty popular. And so this is, I suspect, something where there will be a lot of back and forth. He'll take this to the Hill, and then Congress will go from there, deciding what they can and can't stick with when they look at the politics of what people back home in their districts really want.
Kristen Soltis-Anderson, great to have you on a Saturday morning. Really appreciate it. I'll tell Paula to stop calling you KS.
Listen, Kristen, I think you know, Kristen, that the genesis of that was with this guy right here.
Yes, I take full blame.
From
Thank
DH.
you again, Kristen.
Thanks, Kristen.
As promised, though, a lot of weather to talk about, and as promised, we got a ringer in this morning.
Yeah, we do.
You know, I don't want to drop any names, but
Okay.
his initials are Sam Harris. Sam Champion. Sam Harris. Sam Harris, by way of defense, is my grandfather. So that's a little weird.
Oh, that's classic.
That makes sense.
Dan, you're on a roll, Dad.
I am. I love you right back. You're a lot younger than my grandfather.
No,
He said no.
That's the first, huh?
I'm just gonna go in the back.
Guys, I've been here 1,000 years, Paula. Is that it? Now I get the grandpa jokes? Would you just punch him in the side?
Do you want me to hear? Just a little. Did that hurt?
I deserve something much harder for that.
No, you don't. That was an innocent slip.
We're going to divide. I'm tearing up. We're going to divide the country in half. We've got two big weather stories. One of them is the record heat in the west. The other one is this snowmaker that moves from the Midwest into the east today. So which one do you think we're going to start with? Well, let's start with the snow. We had some incredible pictures that we're going to show you. There are multiple accidents out there from Michigan all the way into Ohio. This one near Toledo shut down the Ohio Turnpike for a while. A lot of cars down. And it wasn't that it was a lot of snow, but it was a burst right around lunchtime. Most people picked up about an inch of snow, but as you can see from what's on the picture right there, some places got about 3 inches of snow. Whiteout conditions, and everybody went off the roads. Now, there's some good news with this storm if you're waking up with us on a Saturday morning and you don't want to see another big collection of snow into the mid-Atlantic or the Northeast, and that is that all of this is moving into much drier air. So you can see where it's all putting together on the radar right now, and still a little bit around Detroit. Buffalo, you're getting some snow as well, and watch the rain that's kind of moving through central New Jersey. Here's the way we put together these watches and warnings today, and I'm not that impressed with what's going on here, but some of you will get a little light collection. Watch these two lows get together out of the Midwest. By tomorrow morning, we've got another one that's forming just off the East Coast, but this one's too far away to be that much of a problem, except to areas like the Cape. That's the weather around the nation. Here's what you can expect this morning.
Well, we had rain overnight, so the ground pretty soggy, but fortunately temperatures are above freezing. We will be pretty cloudy through the first half of the day, up to 45 degrees by 11 o'clock. Topping out today in the middle 50s. Through the midday hours, maybe a few peaks of sun, but if you're going out later tonight, have the umbrella. We'll have some rain that will eventually maybe taper off as a few wet snowflakes early tomorrow morning, but temperatures will remain above freezing. And then for your Sunday, pretty breezy and cool. High temperatures only around 50 degrees.
And as the senior member of the team this morning, it took me a little extra time to walk over to the desk. Dan?
I just want to say, Sam Harris was very spry.
Yeah.
You just said was, so you know what? Dan
we
does
know
feel
how that story ended.
Dan does, in his defense, though, he feels guilt-ridden. He feels bad about it.
Guilty.
He was like he was crushing on you for a second there. He was just excited. And you're aging very gracefully.
I agree with Adrian.
It's just getting better and better
yes,
for me.
I did.
Right.
Ron, save us.
The shovel's getting bigger.
There's some other news this morning.
There is other news.
Tell us about it.
Good morning, everyone. We're going to begin in Pennsylvania, where Hillary Clinton was making her return to the public spotlight, speaking at the Society of Irish Women's St. Patrick's Day dinner in her father's hometown of Scranton, Pennsylvania. The former Secretary of State saying that she is, quote, ready to come out of the woods to help a divided America. Clinton is slated for a number of upcoming public appearances. And new developments in the search for clues in the murders of two Indiana teenagers. Police swarming the home of a man who owns the land where the girls' bodies were found on February 14th, a day after 14-year-old Liberty German and 17-year-old Abigail Williams vanished while hiking. Police say the landowner is not considered a suspect. And in Tennessee, law enforcement officials have added a teacher accused of kidnapping his former student to the state's 10 most wanted list. The suspect, Ted Cummings is his name, and 15-year-old Elizabeth Thomas have not been seen since this past Monday. This week, Cummings was dismissed from the school where he taught after he was investigated for alleged sexual contact with a minor he's believed to be armed. And in Oklahoma City, a manhunt after 3 prisoners escaped from Lincoln County Jail. Police say that the inmates slipped out through an air conditioning vent, stealing 2 pickup trucks, one with a gun, and credit cards inside. Those credit cards used about 50 miles away from the jail. All 3 were behind bars for theft-related crimes. And aviation giant Boeing announcing a new round of layoffs on Friday. Workers at the company's Washington State commercial jet factories received their federally required 60-day notice that they'll be dismissed this coming May. The company not confirming exactly how many workers will be losing their jobs. Boeing has already eliminated about 6,000 jobs in the jetliner unit just in the past year. Princess William and Duchess Kate in Paris making their first official visit there as a couple. They're meeting first responders and survivors of the deadly terrorist attacks in Paris And also in Nice, the City of Lights, a poignant place, of course, for the prince. It's where his mother, Princess Diana, died in a car crash. That was 20 years ago. And finally, a hug seen around the world leads to a lasting friendship. Check out this. This is a photo